Hello, and welcome to Shamrock Talk, the internet's number one mother-son Celtics podcast. I'm your host, Jake Olin, back here once again for Karen Olin.
Hey, can you hear me?
It's been a while. We apologize. Busy. You were gone. How was South Carolina? We haven't recorded since you've been gone and came
Yes,
back
I was gone for two
Maine.
weeks, almost 2 weeks, and it was chilly but fun. no, no, there were days where it was pretty similar in temperature to
Yeah.
up in Boston area. So yeah, but it was fun. It was great. It was a good
Well, we're
getaway.
back. Um, We're back. That's it. Let's go. Lots of games to talk about. Lots of stuff on the agenda. I know as you're on vacation, we talked about it a little bit. You didn't watch some games. So I'll give you a quick summary of how I feel about some of these teams that we played since we last spoke. I should say since we last spoke, the Celtics are 8-3, for 47 and 19 overall, first in the Atlantic Division, second in the Eastern Conference, third in the NBA. Not much has changed there, really. Seems like that's pretty locked in.
Yeah,
Um, Cavs and OKC are going to finish ahead of us, and we should be third, barring any drastic endings here. But that's been the case for a couple months now, and I think that seems to be locked in. But let's go through it. So last game we talked about was San Antonio.
hmm
Next was Philly. All right, so I'll give you one sentence for each of these teams. Philly is in trouble.
I,
It's all I gotta say.
yeah. I looked at the
Um,
box score.
yeah, they just I mean they're tanking at this point, obviously, but even not tanking, it's like it was not great for them this year and they're done. And TBD to what they're gonna be next year, because who knows what that team looks like next year. Because a lot of those guys are going to be tough to move. Embiid in that contract, Paul George in his contract. So,
Yeah,
yeesh. And that was the game. I mean, like, a lot of Yabusele, a lot of not the guys you expected to see on Philly this year. And yeah, but not much there. Then New York. My one sentence for the Knicks, I would say, not good enough yet. Um, yeah, they're just not quite at the
yeah.
level of the top teams right now, which we're going to go through some of who those top teams are later because we played them. Um, and I think the
I just don't
Celtics.
think it's funny because I watched a different game with the Nets, with the Knicks. I didn't watch this game. I didn't rewatch this game because we won, and I looked at the box scores.
Mhm.
But I watched a different game with the Knicks, and I do think there is one problem that's. I actually watched the Lakers Knicks game, a
Yep.
little bit of it, and the. I think one of the big problems is Karl Anthony Towns is not a tough big guy. Defensively, he's just not a tough big guy. Um, and Robinson doesn't move, and he's just not a tough big guy either. They really miss Hartenstein, who
Yeah.
is fabulous with the Thunder, as we'll talk about later.
Yep.
But I just think offensively he's fine, but defensively they are struggling with the big guy. I think they just are not gritty enough in there. That's just my 2 cents as far as a big gap that they have right now. But anyway, keep on.
After that was Toronto. My one sentence for Toronto is where is this going? I don't, this team makes no sense. They just traded for Brandon Ingram, which again just makes no sense. And then signed him to an extension. They're not bad enough to stink, but they're nowhere near good enough to really see a future with these players.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just another kind of a lot like some of it's teams like it was like Philly now, of course, now that everyone's sitting. Um, and Toronto this game where it was like we rested guys and we still just cruised to victory. And those teams, it's like at this stage in the season, if that's happening, either
It's
the
okay.
teams,
Yeah.
but some teams are tanking at this point for a draft pick, but the Raptors, I don't know what their plan is. Doesn't seem like they're
Yeah.
tanking. Doesn't seem like they're going anywhere. Um, just very interesting.
Yeah. No, I don't have much to say about them either.
Where am I on the list now?
Pistons.
Detroit. Yes. More bright spot compared to these other teams, I guess. The
Not
Celtics
except for
lose to
us, but
Detroit.
yeah.
Not a cruising win. These get all the games before that were, I should also mention, just cruised to the victory. Um, you know, there's always whenever you say the Celtics team cruises to victory, there's always like a 4 minute stretch where we don't score and they start to come back and you have like a half heart attack. But that's just to be expected even when we win
Yeah.
by a lot, or you think we're
Yeah.
gonna win by a lot. But to Detroit in Detroit kicked this team's butt. Um, and I gotta say, I kind of found myself rooting for Detroit towards the end of that game.
They're
Um,
fun. They're
yeah,
fun
they're
team.
awesome. I
They're a fun
mean,
team. Well, we've liked them for a while, but they're fun.
yeah, I sold all my stock, so I can't even claim them. I
Finally.
gave up, and finally they've broken
Oh,
through.
I said
Um,
they're a fun team. They were one of mine.
they're yeah. Malik Beasley
Um,
was going off, high five in the crowd, hyping everybody
yeah,
up, and they
he was
just
good.
kicked our butts. And
Yeah,
well, that's the difference between you know, a Toronto and um who's the other one I want to say? Oh, a Sixers, even the shell of the Sixers and this team. It's like the Celtics were coasting in a lot of those games, let's be honest. We'll rest this guy here, we'll rest this guy here, we'll rest this guy here.
yeah,
And a good team is going to beat you if you do that.
yeah.
And
And Jalen was out in this one,
and
right?
a bad team is not.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Jalen was out, but it's like, okay, you don't play Jalen, we're gonna kick your butt. Like,
yeah,
and that's what happened.
yeah,
It's like, all right,
yeah.
fair enough. In Detroit, they kicked our butt, made a statement, and um I didn't give you my one sentence for them would be or I guess two words, tough out. I don't want to see them in the
Agree.
playoffs.
Yeah, no, me
You
either.
know,
They remind me a lot of the Thunder in some ways. Just
yeah. Well, let's not go crazy, but
well, no, but their desire, their defense, their I mean,
yeah.
these guys are still trying to prove themselves, right?
Oh
Their coach
yeah.
can yell at them. They don't have stars that
Yeah.
are really talking back. They are a hardworking
Um,
team. They are a really hardworking team, and they're gritty on defense.
and they're tough.
They are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're tough.
yeah. And then you throw in, I mean, Beasley shooting really well. You know, you got Cade Cunningham. I just think they all contributed. You know who even looked good in this game? Tobias Harris. He has to be so excited because he kind of got lost in the Sixers, and I thought he
Well,
looked pretty good.
the question, the hilarious question now is, who would you rather have, Tobias Harris or Paul George? Uh, I mean, to move on,
Fits in here well. I think
yeah,
he plays with these guys really well.
I know,
I
but
just do.
it's just another brutal Sixer moment where give
Yeah,
uh
yeah,
they give the big deal
yeah,
to Paul George and they let
yeah,
Tobias Harris go after they just finally got out of his deal and it's like the same situation 2.0. They're gonna
yeah.
have this overpaid guy who's not
I
terrible,
mean,
but
I think obviously can score more than Tobias Harris does, but
yeah, but
I
not
think
he didn't really this year.
rebounding, yeah, thus far anyway.
I don't
Is
think
he
he's gonna
out?
play this year. I don't think he'll play again this year.
Mhm.
Has he been playing?
I thought he did.
It's a little sidetrack,
Yeah,
but
I thought he did. I thought he was in a
they
game
play their last game
that they thought
yesterday.
they might win. Not yesterday, but
He did not play yesterday.
yeah, I thought there was a team that wasn't very good that they lost to,
They
that they
lost
potentially
the
saw them.
Hawks.
Maybe that's what it was,
He
but
did not play
I
the
thought
game before.
I thought he did. Yeah,
Hawks,
it's
Sixers, Jazz. No, he didn't play. He's not playing. He hasn't played in their last
all the
three.
games after Embiid's
That
out. I
was the
thought there was one.
Celtic.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
So I thought it was the Nets or somebody. I thought he played one game. They didn't win, and then he
I don't
didn't
think he's
play.
played. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I might have been thinking of somebody else.
But yeah, we're a little
But yeah,
sidetracked
I thought
now.
Tobias Harris looked great. I mean, I thought they all played very well together. I think they have people coming off the bench. I think they work hard on defense. I think they're gritty and they're rough and they're exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an enthusiasm there that
Hmm.
is refreshing.
So if the playoffs started today, the first round matchup would be Knicks Pistons.
I think the Pistons would win.
You think the Pistons would
I
win? You think
do.
the
I
Pistons would
do.
beat the Knicks? That's a bold take.
I think, well, right now, Jalen Brunson, is he back from the twisted ankle?
Okay, but let's say he is. Let's say he is. It's the
So if they're
playoffs. Yeah.
100% healthy, I don't know. Yeah.
It'd be a good
7 games.
series. I don't hate it. I
I
don't hate
think
it.
that Jalen Brunson gets beat up.
Beef Stew's fighting
The
with somebody.
reason,
Beef
and
Stew's getting kicked out of one of these games. He's starting something.
but I just think he takes a beating. I don't think Jalen Brunson. They rely on him scoring so much that I think he takes a beating, and I don't think he
Yeah,
can take it anymore.
I
So
agree.
I don't know. Yeah. It would be an interesting series in my book. If everyone was healthy on both teams, I don't know. I mean, the Pistons would have to be shooting well, not lights out, but they'd have to be shooting well. But yeah, I like them. I think I think they're up and coming. If it's, they're going to have a few good years.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It'll, as I said, it's going to be exciting no matter who they play in the first round because that team's coming out to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And
Cade Cunningham had 11 assists.
Yeah, he's really good.
11. I
yeah.
think he has changed slightly. I think he is really, playing at a high level. I like him. I mean, I don't like him as much as the Celtics, but I like him.
Well,
I just don't think we were ready for them.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean.
I just don't think.
But I thought the point I was trying to make earlier was I thought it was the same energy we had for the other two, the other games, and those teams just weren't good enough, and we
skated through.
Yeah, and then you got a little yeah. Especially because we're looking to this next game, which we'll get to now, which was Cavs beat the Celtics. Celtics start the game up 25-3, I think it was. Donovan Mitchell goes wild at the end of the game, ends with 41 points, and the Cavs complete the comeback pretty handily to beat the Celtics. And this team is for real. I don't know.
Yeah,
this team scares me. They're definitely the other top team in the East at this point. I mean, the Bucks scare you a little, but not like these guys at this point. They're just really good, and Donovan Mitchell just seems to be able to one of the few guards that just seems to be able to kill us over and over again, and that's really what happened in this one.
Yeah, I was trying to pull the box score. This was one that I replayed, so.
Yeah. This was the Super J heavy game. Tatum had 46. Tatum was actually awesome in this game.
Oh yeah, he shot very well in this game. Yeah. And sometimes
he only finished 4 for 12 from 3. Yeah.
When he starts out well, it takes the ball out of everybody else's
hands. The team doesn't
like.
So
yeah.
Tatum starting off really hot seems to be like a curse for us. If he's hot at the beginning of the game, like we're gonna go on a cold streak and do something like we did here. Yeah. But this team is tough, and I think it might.
They're on a 15-game winning streak.
Yeah,
right now.
I know.
And I did go back, and they don't have of those 15 games. Tough teams they're playing right now. They are on a stretch where they should be.
Oh, sure.
They should be beating some of these.
But they beat us. We're on that 15-game winning streak.
Would I consider us tough at times? No. Are there games where I'm thinking?
Yeah. So it's not nothing, and
no,
people always talk about like that Hawks team. Well, I couldn't tell you what year it was, 2016, 2015, 16 or something, that they got the number 1 seed, and then but everyone kind of knew that LeBron and the Cavs were the favorite, and then they just swept them in the playoffs like easily. No one wasn't even close. So people point to that for these teams that are really good in the regular season but never proved it in the playoffs. But I don't think this is that. I mean, like,
no, 100%.
Like that seems to be the outlier. Yeah.
The record better than ours last
Yeah,
year.
and we'll get to the other team that's up there later. But no, these guys are beating people's butts, and yeah, just a team I don't. They're big. Uh, I think it's really smart. You have the two small guards in Garland and Mitchell, so you kind of pair them with two bigger guys and Allen and Mobley, and um, are able to kind of make up some of that size that the guards lack. But this team is really good, and yeah, I think it matters that they're the number one seed and they have home
Yeah.
court for the playoffs. And sometimes in some cases for the Celtics, it hasn't mattered because they've just lost at home anyway and then had to win on the road.
Yeah.
But um,
I just finally, out of all my box scores,
yeah.
figured this out too. We also did not have Drew Holiday, and I know that there is a discussion that he's missed a step or he's.
Hmm.
I will tell you right now, he plays still as good as anybody on our team. If you
Yeah.
watch
Oh,
him
for
in
sure.
and out, he is a very strong part of our defense.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
very
And,
strong. And that would have
yeah.
put more pressure on Donovan Mitchell. That would have been, you know what I mean? So he
Yeah.
is a piece. And no Porzingis. I mean, that's a piece as
Well,
well.
well,
So
okay, but the thing at this we have to discuss is can you rely on Porzingis being in the game? Because
I've
all
always
evidence
I've
points
always
towards
said
no.
off the bench. I don't think we start him. I think he is a piece for us. Or we start him, but he only plays that like he does, 20 something minutes. I don't think he's a even when he is healthy. I just don't think he is a 30 something minute guy because I don't think his body can take it. I don't. Um
Yeah, that's interesting. Just having Porzingis come permanently off the bench, sixth man.
I yeah. I just think or
I
you
like
could
it.
start
Al
him.
starts, Porzingis comes in
He
with
comes
Pritchard
in,
maybe.
he gives a
Um,
boost in offense. He's something kind of off because I do think that
yeah.
you have three guys starting who all
Hmm.
like to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Where does
You
that
have
leave time
ample
for anybody
shots.
else?
Yeah.
D White gets lost. I don't know, but I just think to keep him healthy, you limit his minutes to 20 something. Don't have him. There were games there. I would just try that. I mean, at this point, what's it going to hurt? I mean, he hasn't been
Yeah.
playing, so
And as we get further in our little marathon here, the uh Horford's playing well. He's been great lately. So
I okay. If we didn't have him in last night's game, we'll get there. Uh,
yeah.
it would have been a blowout, a complete blowout at a point.
Yep.
It really would have. Yeah, he is unbelievable. They were talking. I watched the national broadcast instead of sometimes I need
Yeah.
breaks from Scal, and yeah, I do. I need breaks from Scal, and they were talking about his conditioning. And I guess Jason Tatum was talking about his conditioning and saying he's taken pieces from Al. Al's talked to who's Tom Brady's guy or was
Yeah,
his
I heard that the
guy.
other day. Alex
Yep.
Guerrero. I'm reading Tom
He's
Brady's book right now, so I know all about the
he's
pliability and
talked to
whatnot.
his guy.
Yeah.
He even when he's not they're not practicing and they don't have a game, he stretches at least 40 minutes a day. 40 minutes on his off days. I mean, he has this very intense sort of regime that he does to
Hmm.
keep himself. So, and other players have, um,
Yeah.
adopted
Good guy
some
to
of
have
his,
around. Always the
yeah,
good guy to
yeah,
have
yeah.
around.
He has been looking great.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I remember I rewatched this game and Drew as a defender is a loss, especially against a team like this. I think he's a loss. He does more than you think he does, and he does a lot of little
Yeah,
things.
especially a team that has two
Um,
good guards that
yeah, yeah. Well,
play
because
off each other.
his main role is
Yeah.
defense. He's not, we're not relying
Hmm.
on him to score. So that is what he does. He gets those little rebounds. He plays defense well. So I think that every time we play without him with a team like this is a huge loss for us. Um, but anyway, yeah,
All right,
we
we can get to the
actually,
next one. Plenty of games to get through. We got to rapid fire through these.
yep.
Plenty of teams.
All right.
Next was the Nuggets. Celtics beat the Nuggets, another team, considered contenders at least. Um, and I think for a lot of portion, I feel like the score was closer than this game. I feel like we had a
Yes.
handle on this game, really from the beginning. And Jokic did not like 100%. He was hobbling a little out there at the beginning, but
Oh, totally at the
um,
beginning. I think
yeah,
until his cortisone shot kicked in, right? Like literally, he
yeah,
was
he was
hobbled.
hobbling.
So
You were
strange.
at this
Yeah.
game, weren't you?
Yeah.
In
I
the
mean, he
stadium.
was
It was like an afternoon
limping up
game.
and
Yeah,
down. I didn't even know at the beginning if he was gonna, and then whatever happened, he seemed to get better, but was never 100%. But in the
for sure.
beginning, he was barely making it up the court.
Hmm.
He's just, I think,
This team
um,
to me, I mean, well, we should say, no Aaron Gordon. Um, that's a big loss for them. But this team just does seem to be missing a piece. Even when they have him, like, um,
shooting percentage is
Russell Westbrook
so
can't be
good.
what?
Why is he shooting less?
Who?
Is that their new Jokic? He was 2 for 3
Yeah,
at three a couple times, and he didn't take the shot. He
yeah,
passed it up to his teammates. So I don't know if this is something they're adopting, like that, and they said last year, and they changed how they were playing, and he was going to be much more of a facilitator and all of that. Well, I can tell you right now, he had some open shots where he could have made the game a little bit closer, and
for
he
sure.
he passed it. He
Hmm.
didn't shoot. I mean, he's 60%, 66 at three he shot in this, and he only took 3 3-point shots. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Um,
Like I said, I think this team's just missing a piece. Like you can't have Russell
yeah,
Westbrook playing 36 minutes.
he shot 8 threes.
Yeah, well, they leave him open because they leave him
He
open.
shot three.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just leave Russell. They leave him open, and he just can't resist. It's like, just please keep shooting. They want you to do that. Um. So yeah, I don't know. I see. It's interesting. We played all kind of the top teams in a row here now. Um. And this team again, not that we just because we beat them, but just it seems a step below some of the other contenders. And maybe Jokic just turns it on in the playoffs and is out of control and, can beat some of those teams. But I don't know. I don't see it.
agreed. Yeah, I don't know. They just at no point did I really, and I kept thinking, any team with Jokic, and kept waiting for him to shoot.
Hmm.
Because literally he rarely misses, especially when he shoots from three. Rarely misses. And he just didn't do it in the second half.
Yeah.
It was like he had opportunities and he wasn't shooting. So, and they
Hmm.
really needed him to if they were going to win this game. So I don't know. Um, yeah. And I think Murray's lost a little bit of a step. He's not as dynamic as he was the year that they won the whole thing.
For sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if he's injured
And
or
people
just,
say in the playoffs he always comes through and blah blah blah. But okay, well,
yeah. I
let's
mean,
let's
still
get to
good.
the
And he had
playoffs and
moments.
see.
Second half,
Yeah, he was really good in the
he
second half,
really
but
stepped up in the
he was
second half.
very not there in the first. So, not a very complete game at least.
We shot the three abysmally, except for Derek White and Peyton Pritchard. Jason Tatum was 1 for 7.
Classic.
Yeah. Jalen Brown was 2 for 4, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll get back to
And we still
last night's
won.
game, but
Yeah. All
um,
right.
yep.
Move quickly through them. We don't have to go over this one too much. The Trailblazers, another what are they doing team? I don't know what this team is at all, what the goal of this team is. Um, Anthony Simmons or Simons, however you say it, he's pretty good.
Who is this team?
That's what I mean. It's
That's
like
funny.
what?
The only person I
Uh,
recognize name is Scoot Henderson because
Scoot
Brett said it a
Henderson,
few times. That's about
he
it.
he's been a real disappointment. That's a real just killer for them. They lose out on Wemby by one pick and get, a guy who was Scoot Henderson was supposed to be good. People were saying, he'll be people are saying contending him for the number one pick with Wemby, and he has just not panned out and did not look good at this game. Fouled out like immediately. Um and yeah, I don't know. Another team
Yeah.
that's
So
just
yeah.
tanking
So
doesn't really seem to
Tybal
make
was
much
out. He
sense.
didn't play.
Yeah, Jeremy Grant didn't
Really,
play.
decent.
Yeah.
And then Aiton, he was out.
Yeah.
Our buddy
But it's
Rob Williams.
but yeah, but this is a team that's now like shutting down for the season and is like, what do we have with the rest of these guys? Because this is not working. And when none of those guys are looking great, you're like, wait, you gotta figure something out here. It's not good.
And we cruised.
And we
No Tatum,
cruised.
no Drew, no
Yeah,
Porzingis.
exactly. When these guys are out and we still cruise, it's like,
Yeah,
oof, you guys are
yeah,
just not even trying here.
yeah, yeah,
And we're at that point of the season where it's not even trying time. Get to the next one. Sixers again. We can just skip this. We've talked enough about the Sixers. I don't want to hear about the Sixers.
yeah. I agree.
Um, it's bad. All
Yeah.
right, so the Lakers, the most watched regular season game in like 3 years. It's crazy. Um, Luca hype, I
Well,
guess.
that
The
is the
trade, the
yeah.
whole
I mean,
thing in the
Lakers are so
garden.
excited right now, right? As an
Stars are
organization,
out.
they are so
Yeah,
excited.
they're over the moon. They
Everyone
gotta
loves
be.
LeBron and everyone loves Luca. Like they
Yeah,
love them. So it doesn't surprise me. And he buys in. Luca's just got that charming, I
yeah,
was made for LA kind of, he
yeah. He
does.
does. He
That's who he
does.
is.
Um,
This game was a joy for me. Like I
um,
enjoy teams like the Thunder, the Pistons, even the Cavs right now, right? I like
yeah,
playing those teams, but I don't have a chip on my shoulder about those types of teams. They're hardworking, a lot of young
yeah.
players,
Agreed.
great
Yeah.
defense.
Yes.
Luca,
It is.
Luca,
He is a kind of a good villain, I will
he's a
say.
great villain.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
is.
yeah,
He's a good villain. Um, yeah, but the Celtics get the best of him in the end once again.
yeah.
You know, Lakers a little hobbled, especially by the end. LeBron's not even playing, and they didn't have Jackson Hayes or
That's going to be a big problem for them.
yeah,
Uh,
they're a little thin. You're cutting in and out in your headphones. I'm not sure if
I lost you.
oh, yep. Lost you for a second. All right. Can you hear me? I don't know if she can. Well, we're talking about the Lakers here. I'm not going to cut this out. Um, yeah, this team's just not very deep. I don't know what to say. I cannot hear you. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties here.
Oh, there we go. Now my headphones died. I don't have my microphone.
Okay.
Now I'm just going to be
Fr-
sorry about the call.
Freewheeling it. We'll see.
Pardon
Yeah, we'll
me.
see.
I'm in.
I audio's going in and out in the base from the basement in Maine. Not the
Yeah.
best connection, but going over the Lakers. Yeah, the depth is just a problem for them. They don't
Yes.
have the
Great.
guys.
No.
Um, Gabe Vincent's a good player.
Yeah. They
Goodwin.
have
I
some
don't know
good
what to make of
players.
him.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have some good players. I just think that they don't have the bench, and LeBron's old. As good as he is, he's old. And to be the star player and have to play that hard,
Yeah.
you take a chance every
Agreed.
time.
And it's like uh everyone was so excited about the Luca trade and oh LeBron and Luca are, of course they're gonna work right together. But the problem does become neither of them can be like your physical guy forces at this point. Luka never had it, and LeBron is 40. So you need like big physical guys around them, and they have none. They have like no. Rui Hachimura is the other guy who is missing. Who he can kind of play that role, but not really. I mean, they need some real enforcers on that team, and they don't have any. And a guy like who's guarding Jokic on this team? Like
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
yeesh. And I know they beat the Nuggets and
Yeah.
Jokic didn't have a great game, but come on. In a series, that's gonna be a
Series of
nightmare.
7, yeah, I agree. They'd have a much more difficult time. And if I were the Lakers, I would have had that organization put something in Luka's contract to some monetary compensation in the off season to get into the gym and get in better shape. Literally,
Mhm.
like he needs to be in better shape. He needs to be. Like
Yeah.
if he is going to carry a team and be this kind of star, and he's got to, he's got
Yeah.
to, not be dying at the end. And he was exhausted at the end of this game. Similar to our series and us playing him, he was exhausted at the end of those games. But anyway, yeah, I think they just need more. And I like Austin Reeves. I mean, I think he's a good.
Yeah, they have a good like, got a lot of good pieces. Like I
I
said, just
thought his defense was far better than I thought it was going to be. He's gotten a
uh-huh.
little tougher on defense. Yeah, I think they even
The other thing we have to mention is Jaylen Brown just kind of has Luka's number.
yeah.
I don't know what it is. He loves that matchup. You can see it in Luka's eyes. You can see it in his eyes. When Luka's defending him one-on-one, it's like Jaylen Brown's like, I'm going to score. You know it. I know it. And everyone knows it. And I'm going to score. And he does. And then
He's just
defensively, he
not
just
fast.
hounds him. Yeah,
It's
but
not fast.
yeah. But we'll get to some other
Not
games that just happened
necessarily.
where Jaylen Brown does not have that kind of mentality or, um,
Well, if he were double teamed, which this team doesn't double team very often.
no,
They don't have the capability to double
they
team.
can't. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But anyway, this was a huge win. I think the energy was really, really high.
Yeah. Tatum was awesome.
Yes, I thought they were. Yeah.
Um, you could argue Tatum was the best player in this game. I mean, for a lot of the game, he looked like the best player in this game.
I agree.
Um,
He had 8
he
assists.
finished with 40 points, so 12 rebounds, 8 assists. Oh my goodness.
The
And
only thing I didn't like about this game was how many minutes he played. I don't like that. I don't think he
sure.
45 minutes.
I know, but you know how it is. I want to know, like, how does this get done though? Because who goes to Joe before the game and they're like, it's the Lakers national TV. You gotta crank the minutes up. We need the is it like Jordan Brand calling for Tatum? Like, we're hyping up the new shoe. We need him a lot of minutes on that, like against the Lakers tonight. I don't know what it is that
At this point, I mean, even, Luka gets his rest. LeBron gets his rest. I
yeah,
think we have
Tatum
to
by far the most minutes and
be
Jalen.
really careful. That's all.
But they rested other
Jaylen
times.
Brown was 41. That's too many minutes in my book. But, and that's just looking to the postseason. We had a long season last season.
Olympics.
We'll have a long season Olympics. Exactly. It's just,
Yeah.
oh,
He's played by far the most minutes. It is scary.
yeah.
But to his credit, he doesn't want to miss games and he's an Iron
Oh,
Man
he's
and
miserable. What game did he sit out and they kept flashing to him and he doesn't smile. He's just on the bench and he just wants to be playing, but they,
yeah.
um,
Hey, I like it. I like that. That's
yes.
good. That
And we're not
matters.
the exact
And
same
the
way.
most it's by far his most underrated quality is Tatum never misses games. Like ever. And he doesn't want to, and he wants to play, and he always wants to be out there. He's never one to with the um
Although, is he pretty close to the tech fine?
technical foul limit, maybe. Yeah.
I think he is.
Force him
He's
some.
very
He could
smart.
use some forced rest. Give him a little technical forced rest. I'll take it.
I think
He doesn't miss games though, and he's not hurt, and he's coming to play every night. And so, um, all these other teams want to give you, oh, he's not playing, he's not playing. It's like, well, our guys are playing, and we're gonna beat you. But that's enough Lakers talk. It's gonna be an interesting few years in LA, I think. Jazz next. I was at this game.
It's the one that made the run, right?
This is the one that made the run at the end there. Made it a little interesting. Classic Celtics, but they pull it out in the end. The Sam Hauser game, really. He was awesome. 7 threes in a quarter. A lot of fun, when a player gets going like that, especially Sam Hauser, who's had kind of a struggled or a troubled season, I would say. Hurting, just a lot of different injuries and stuff, and just hasn't seemed to have as big as a role as he did last year. Some would say they might have gotten Torrey Craig to try to replace him. Hasn't worked out like that so far, but
No, no.
Um,
He is very athletic. Yeah.
so good, just good to see a guy like Sam see a few go through. Um,
So they didn't have Markkinen.
yeah,
Um, and then
yeah,
this is
but
an interesting team as well. I mean,
this is another team that's just punting again. Like
yeah.
no marketing. They're like, we're gonna lose games. We're gonna get in the lottery and but come back next year. So
And John Collins, which I am a
we
big
beat you
John
without.
Collins fan. Like
We're
I
gonna
like,
beat you
I
without
always,
Tatum, and
yeah. I've always liked John Collins.
me too.
And
He
he's your
never seems to
star.
pan out.
No,
Yeah,
when he's your star, I don't know. Like you gotta sort of, I guess,
yeah,
like I said, Markkinen was out, and I think he's very good. I just think
yeah,
that more defensive kind of second or third player at this point.
yeah.
More
Sensabaugh was awesome. I had
third.
no idea who this guy was. Bryce Sensabaugh.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Didn't
yep.
miss for a while. He
Yeah.
was like one of their better players. I guess he's a rookie. So someone to watch out for. A little bright spot at least in Utah there. But yeah, another team that you just go, what is this team doing? I mean,
It's gonna be
time for the lottery. Time for some new players. A little bit of change needed.
uh,
Um, well then let's get to last night's the big one. Um, Thunder beat the Celtics, sweep them in the series at home, on the road, without Jalen Williams, without Alex Caruso. No Porzingis for the Celtics, but the Celtics wanted this game, Mom. You can tell when we come out and
I
they want a game. And they wanted this game and they were just thoroughly outplayed. I mean, no other way around it. Um, yeah, what'd you think?
I think it's very scary. I'm hoping not to play them in the finals if we make it to the finals.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this team get knocked off before
I would
they're
too.
healthy. Yeah, yeah. This is going to be a hard.
I would too.
I love their team. They're so fun
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
If you
yeah.
really enjoy basketball, if you really like the sport, this
Yeah.
is the kind of team that you can't help in a little way, even when they're playing your own team,
Uh-huh.
to root for a little bit and say,
Oh
"Wow,
man.
it's a really good play," because they're really they work so hard. Their effort level is so high, and their bench is deep. I mean, they've got a good bench.
Deep. Oh my God.
Every
It's out of
someone will start
control.
scoring, or
It's out of
they will
control.
tie up our stars defensively.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
wait
Yeah.
a minute, that's not a star. Who is that
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
I look up his name. But they have a lot of pieces. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
good. I
I
mean,
gotta say,
how about Dort's shooting now? They were saying
yeah.
40% at three now. I mean, last year
Yeah.
that was not a thing. Yeah.
Nope.
Uh,
Last night, all season, was the first time I sat there and was like, well, man, this team might just be better than us. It's
I know.
the first team this year where it's like, people have insane shooting nights. Dylan Brooke hits like 10 threes in a game. We lose to the Rockets. Like, okay, that's a good team they beat us. But this is the first time it was like, oh man, this team might just flat out beat us because they didn't have their second best player and
Yeah.
another and they just made it look easy. I mean, they came in there. Case and Wallace, that like right-handed layup that's just automatic anytime he gets there. It's unbelievable.
He didn't have a stop for it.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Wiggins
And,
is
and, and,
good.
and
Isaiah
got it.
Joe hits
Derek
shots.
White is a
Like,
good defender, and how many times did they school him?
yeah, oh yeah,
You
like
know, I mean, he
yeah,
works
they come
hard.
at
He
you.
lets his
Yeah,
teeth get knocked out, and
yeah, yeah.
so it's a scary team. It really, really.
Oh yeah,
And Chet Holmgren, oh my goodness, the improvement. He was always good, but the improvement of that kid is
yeah,
unbelievable. His moves, the way he moves under the hoop offensively, he is so hard to stop. I don't care
yeah.
who the defender is. He is going to be so hard to stop. And
Mm-hmm.
just coming back. He missed so many games,
Yep.
the third or fourth game back.
Mm-hmm.
Just working to getting back to, normal. And he was fabulous. I mean,
Yep.
made it
No,
look
this team's a real problem.
23 points,
Um,
14 shots for Chet
yeah.
Holmgren. I mean,
And the argument you'd make against them is the free throws and some of the SGA kind of foul baity stuff, and
yeah,
those calls seem to get minimized in the playoffs, especially towards the end of game. So you could say, but I mean, otherwise, whew, this team is rock solid.
yeah.
And this is a tough out, and I'm glad they're in the West We don't need
Yes,
these
so
guys in
I
the
said
East.
it
Oh my
multiple
God.
times last night. Thank God they're in there. Yes.
Yeah. So, like I said, the Cavs could definitely beat us, and they're going to be a problem. But I still favor the Celtics a little in that one. This one, oh no, I don't know. It could go either way. I mean, this team is tough, and they brought it to us.
And I love Harden.
Um,
And he has a mask right now, which limits him. And you can tell he's always like,
yeah,
oh, he's not even 100% either.
yeah.
And he's still, I think he's so good.
But every time I'm like this game is going, and I'm like, okay, like you try to force guys into shots.
Yeah.
Isaiah Joe Wiggins, was 0 for 9, but he can play. Case and Wallace, it's like those are the guys you want shooting, and it's like all those guys are hitting shots and making tough plays, and you're like, oh, they don't have like any weaknesses. It's quite shocking, honestly.
No, they were, I think, very
Yeah,
fun.
they're tough. They are tough.
Um,
And yeah, that's really it. I mean,
Probably for me, one of Jaylen Brown's worst games I've seen him play.
yeah,
On defense,
he was horrendous.
he had a few good. The first half, I thought he worked hard. At least he's willing to like step up.
Yeah.
But this is to be one of the worst games I think
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him play recently. He just seems so lost offensively at times.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not the 0 for 5 at 3. That's not it. It just seemed like, the ball was tied up. It was batted out stolen from him. I don't know. He really seemed
He fouls out.
yeah. He seemed out.
It's been an interesting year for him in that way, where sometimes he's just awesome and he plays Luca and he's like, I'm gonna kick Luca's butt all game. Like anytime Luca's in the game, I'm gonna kick his butt and I'm gonna look amazing and I'm gonna dunk on people and no one's gonna stop me. And then there's games like this where it's like he's fully capable of doing the same thing to SGA and being up in his face,
Yeah.
and not hopefully not fouling. That's kind of why I foul out, I guess. But and then being awesome on the other end. But he just doesn't have I don't know. It's like an on-off switch. Sometimes he has it, sometimes he doesn't. And it seems to be certain matchups he likes and certain teams that he's really good against and certain ones that he's not. And it's just such a bizarre dynamic because sometimes he looks like the best player on the court and sometimes he's just killing our team.
To the hoop, don't get me wrong. I mean, he
Yeah.
had a couple of but on the average, it seemed like they knew they had his number and they could stop him, or they knew he just he had a very, very difficult time.
Another one was the
beginning without Al Horford, we would have been so
he was awesome.
4 threes, I think, wasn't it in the first quarter or the first?
Yeah.
I mean,
first half
but
at
also
least.
his
Yeah.
defense, like we would have been in so much trouble at the beginning there. We just would have been in the hole right away.
Yeah.
So for a while there, he kept us in it.
But I was going to say it was the same in the we forgot to mention the Trailblazers game earlier was the 40-40 game where Derek White and Pritchard had 40. First time in Celtics history 2 players have had 40 points in the same game. Just a bizarre piece of trivia, but it was the same thing there where Pritchard has like flames coming out of his spot, and Jaylen Brown comes down and just like turns the ball over and tries to make his own play. And it's like, dude, like sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. You just gotta either know when you don't have it and really focus on the defense or something else, or figure something out because it becomes a negative at some point.
Yeah. And I was just going to look I think the second half, they both, I mean, even I think Tatum flamed out a little. Tatum in the second half was 0 for 6 at 3. 0 for 6.
Yeah.
0 for 3, Jaylen Brown. I mean, we shot 18% at 3.
Yeah. And
5 for 27, 18%.
Franchise record 63 3-pointers. And the conversation's always going to go to, do they take too many threes? It's like, okay.
Their offense isn't good enough to do anything else at times. Literally in the beginning.
Yes, for
half,
sure. Yeah.
It's so good on defense.
We just didn't look like we had anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like if we weren't making the threes, we weren't doing much. Yeah, yeah. And against a team like this, I mean, these guys are good defensively. I mean, they, and I think the refs in this game, there are games where they don't let them get away with as many fouls. I think on both sides, they didn't call a lot of,
Yeah,
and you
it
couldn't even
wasn't.
complain that they were calling them too much on
I
one.
agree. I saw people on Twitter were complaining about the refs. I was like, I didn't think it was that
And
bad. I
I think
mean,
they had calls that might have been a foul, but I thought it was pretty even for both sides.
yeah, agreed.
There were times when we were stealing with the ball when I thought we massacred the guy.
For sure. Yeah.
You know what? I don't know. So I didn't think that was the reason for this. This
Agreed.
was about shooting, you know. Um,
Hmm.
and even in the paint when they were, we couldn't stop them. We really
Not
had
at all.
trouble there stopping them at times. Um, yeah. So yeah, I agree with you. This is a very scary team, and I think even with Porzingis, let's bring him back in. And he looks miserable on the bench. Like he looked sick for the first time ever. Uh, he was sitting on the bench, and they had him. It was on national. I was watching the national broadcast a couple times. The guy did not smile, and in fact, almost a grimace on his face. And I don't know if he was just watching. Typically, whether we're winning or losing, he is the most jovial person,
Yeah.
smiles and just
Yeah.
so whatever is going on with him, he's a hurting unit. Like something's
Yeah.
he's
Well, he's sick.
yeah, no, that's what
Yeah.
this is a real thing because his face,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is.
he is
It's a
not him.
classic. It would happen to him. Like,
Yeah,
of
he's
course.
not himself. And I don't even mind. I hope his energy gets back up. He's got time for the playoffs. I'm just glad he's not getting hurt.
Yeah,
So let's just
exactly.
save that weapon because we're doing okay right now. Let's just save that weapon as we get closer to
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
um, because we will need him in certain games. So, um, yeah, I don't know exactly what's wrong with him or what the illness is, um, but yeah, it was a scary game. And I agree with you. It was probably the first time I was like, I'm not sure we would beat this team best out of seven.
Yeah. In a series, it's like, oh,
You would have to be shooting threes, lights out,
yes.
and
No
we
room for
haven't done
error.
it really rarely all season against a good,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've had our games, but they're typically when we're shooting well at the three, a lot of times it's against not so good teams, like
Yeah.
teams that aren't playing defense well, teams that, um,
Yeah.
are
Agreed.
highest percentages. So yes, 100%, I agree. This team is a scary team. They're real.
Oh, they're real.
And they work their butts off.
Yes.
Everyone work. They
Yes.
are back on
Everyone. There's not
defense.
one person on
They
that
are back
team.
on defense so fast. Like I mean, so fast.
There's no defenders to target.
Shooter, the shooter is back on defense. Even the star, SGA got back on defense most of the time so fast. Like
Yeah.
very, very impressive. Yeah. They're out to win it. Yeah, and
Oh,
they're
I agree.
they're a contender.
They're the betting favorites now, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
over the Celtics.
100%, 100%.
Yep, they're
Well, why
real.
wouldn't they be after last night?
Oh, I agree. It's like
I'm like, and we were shooting the three well in the first half.
in
So,
the beginning, at least. Yeah. Yep.
again, the only thing that kept us in it.
Yeah,
Uh,
they just kicked our butts.
yeah. Yeah, the first half, 41%. That's pretty good for us. 6 for 18,
Mm-hmm.
36. And they only shot 6. They were 6 for 18. So 55% they shot in the first half. We shot overall 43%. And we were within 3. So crazy. And that's the 3. I mean, that's the magic
Yep.
of the 3. But the problem with the magic of the 3 is can you do it best out of 7? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you say has been our, lights out 3-point shooter on a consistent basis?
Nobody.
Nobody. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody.
So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, coming up for the Celtics, you get a little bit of a break here because you're at Miami, at Brooklyn, home for Brooklyn, at Utah, Portland, Sacramento. Teams that are not trending in the right direction. So,
Saying anything because remember last time, who did I say it'd be easy and we lost?
Yeah, you know,
Nets
you never
show
know.
up.
You'll drop one every once in a while. Yeah,
Nets show up every once in a while.
they
They,
do.
yeah, like they beat the Clipper. They beat a couple teams in a stretch
Yeah,
that I didn't think they would beat. So they're a very
no. You never know when Cam Thomas is gonna have 45
yeah,
points and
yeah,
not miss a shot all game or something, but
yeah,
few and far between.
yeah. Teams that have nothing to lose, right? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cusp right
Agreed.
now. That's kind of the tricky. They're gonna play all out because they want to make playoffs.
Yeah. Well, do they?
I think they do because I think there are so many stinky teams that are going to do worse than them, right?
Sure.
Now
Yeah.
there's so many. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, we got Miami, then them. Miami also on a downward spiral a little bit.
yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean,
Um,
I don't think anybody's sick for them or out.
yeah, I mean it's just been a tough year with the whole Jimmy thing, and they're gonna have to figure out some things in the off season, I think.
Nets have plummeted.
Yeah, they're not very good.
For some reason I thought they were at 10. They're not at 10. They're at 12 right now. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Shamrock Talk coming back, month off, busy month for the both of us, but we're gonna be back. We're gonna finish strong before the playoffs. Um, and get back. Weekly pods. That's the goal. We do not always stick to that, but we're gonna try. Try our best. Um, so stick around. It's gonna be a good end to the year.
Yeah, we're both shell shocked from last night. A lot of deep thinking.
I
How to
know.
solve the Thunder problem and the Cavs problem.
Yeah. Let's take one problem at a time here because, plenty of time to think about that. How can we make this team better? Joe's listening, we know, taking notes on our opinions. And he's been waiting for us for a while. So, but we'll be back. Playoffs coming. It's going to be a good end of the year. We got March Madness coming next week. I'll do a March Madness edition. We'll get some questions going for March Madness. Got to get a little March Madness pool going
I'm
again.
sure ASU is going to be in there, but San Diego State has a chance.
Yes, ASU's not going
should
to be in there. They're already eliminated.
be.
Yep. So it'll be a good March Madness year. And then before you know it, March Madness ends and you're into the playoffs. Spring is upon us. It's go time for all the teams, but
Dingus is getting some vitamin D today. And he's resting up, and I feel as though another week he's going to be where he should be.
Fingers crossed. We all hope so.
Another way our way.
But keep on the lookout. Follow us on social media at Shamrock Talk Pod on Twitter, at Shamrock Talk on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all the places. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Well, I'm getting back. I'm getting back to posting after the hiatus. And it's going to be good. I'll get some more clips on the social media. And we'll be off and running for playoff time.
Ready.
See, everyone talks about how the NBA's down till come playoff time. Now everyone's interested again. It's going to be a good spring. And we'll be here every step of the way. Anything else to close out?
No, go Celtics.
Go Celtics. See you next week.